Hello and welcome to How to Sit in Theater, presented by Nicholas Vidmar and the New Lenox Library. In this presentation, we will discuss how to create a home theater setting without leaving your house, and how to share that setting with your friends to revitalize the watching experience that has likely hit doldrums as you've watched quite a few shows during the duration of quarantine, but it's not yet quite time to go into a proper theater. To facilitate this, you'll need to figure out what application you wish to watch from and how to improve the feel of the home theater you are to create. Hosting options. The first thing you must figure out is what show you're looking to watch and what platform you're looking to watch it from, be that Netflix, Amazon Prime, DVD, whatever. We will assume that you are using one of those three options for the sake of this presentation. However, we have included options of platforms to share those movies that include beyond those three. The first option to share is separate but together. This means that you will be using your standard TV computer interface to watch your show, and then using a separate interface, your phone, another window on the computer, to have your chat through. And that could be text chat, video chat, whatever you choose. There are many free applications that let you chat like that, such as Facebook Chat or Messenger, Google Hangouts, or Skype, Zoom. You've probably heard of many other during the duration of quarantine as well. But in using separate but together, everyone must have their own copy of the show you're to be watching, and you'll have one person essentially do a countdown that everyone can click to start at the same time to watch the show together, and then use a separate application to video chat as you choose. This gives you a lot of leeway as you can see what fits best, and you're not all going to be using the same application and struggling to install it or whatever you need to. But it does have some variances in that since you're doing a countdown and everyone's using your internet feed, you'll have a little more variety of where people are at in the streams, so bear that in mind. The next application is Cosme, and Cosme is a screen sharing application. This means that only one person needs to have the show actively going, and they are sharing their screen and audio with everyone else in the room created in Cosme. Cosme also has a built-in video chat and text chat, so you can use those as you please. Only thing to note with Cosme is that there are more technical issues as it's free and does not require a login, so you will sometimes have to refresh the stream. Furthermore, as it's a screen sharing application, you do need to be careful what you share through it, as there are licensing issues with certain shows, so be careful what you share, and you might want to read through your legal agreements just to be on the safe side. But moving on from Cosme, there's Netflix Party. As the name implies, this is only usable with Netflix. And Netflix Party is a syncing Google extension, meaning this can only be used in Google Prime, and you add it to your browser. It's not a separate window you enter into. And what Netflix Party will do is it will connect with Netflix account and allow you to create a room that you can invite people to, where they will be able to watch the show and their Netflix account will sync with yours to play at the same time. And it will create a text chat in a sidebar where you can type out and share the experience that way. The last one we mentioned is 2.7, typed out. And this is another syncing Google extension, so once again, only good if you're on Google Chrome as your browser. 2.7 acts as a bit of a hybrid between Netflix Party and Cosme, in that 2.7 will connect to your streaming platform, and this will work for Netflix, Amazon Prime, and a few other options to sync up your video. But again, everyone needs to have their own account to sync with. And then it will allow for either a text chat box, or 2.7 also has the capacity to do video sharing or a video chat. But the problem is 2.7, while it does have a free version, is a subscription service. So there are tiers to that, depending on what you want to be streaming. So bear that in mind. It is worthwhile to look into all of these If you're not using Netflix, obviously ignore Netflix Party. We will compare the benefits of these and which one you might want to use given your circumstance. Comparison. As you're looking through these different applications, there's a bit of a word salad, so let's break it down in this graph format so you can see which one might work for you. So we have our separate but together Cosme, Netflix Party, and 2/7. Now we've got single platform, meaning that only one person needs to own and stream what you're watching. Otherwise, everyone needs to have their own copy. Text chat, meaning there's a sidebar that you can type out what you think and everyone will see it. Video chat, you can see each other and talk. Stable, this is the connection and how likely buffering and other technical issues are to interfere with your stream. And then paid, does the service require you to have a subscription that is paid to use it? I am not counting the subscription fees to Netflix or Amazon Prime in a part of this, because you can watch shows through other means. That is your choice, and the basis that you'll probably make a decision on before you get to this point in the process. So, in separate but together, everyone must have their own copy, so it fails on single platform. It does give you text chat, it does give you video chat. Stability is harder to judge on this, as depending which service you're using, that will vary greatly. And if you're doing text chat or video chat. It will also have a slightly more stable connection for what you're watching, as you don't have the translation into the screen sharing that can have its own buffer. But any buffering between different people will create different timestamps in your show, which you'll have to occasionally resync with everyone just to get everyone back on the same time mark. And this also can vary with paid, as you can use Facebook Messenger, which is free, but Zoom is paid, etc. So there's a lot more choices involved with this and a lot more variance. Next, we go to Cosme. Cosme is the only one that is a single platform, but as mentioned previously, this may run into issues as some shows should not be streamed because you don't have the license to do so. Again, bear that in mind. We don't want you doing anything illegal. Cosme does give you text chat as well as video chat. It has a slightly lower stability. Since it is a screen sharing application, it has to do a lot more translation and will occasionally drop party members who will then have to rejoin and refresh the page to resync in. However, because it's a screen share, when they sync back in, they are at the point of the show. There is no having to catch up like there is with separate but together. Cosme is also free, nor does it require you to create an account to log in. That's one of the biggest perks to Cosme. It also has many other applications as well, and you may have seen it in our previous video on how to play euchre online, as it does give you an application for a card table, among others. So useful in other regards. Netflix Party. Netflix Party, everyone must have their own Netflix account. It does give you a text chat. Netflix Party does not support video chat, though, and it is quite stable. It is very good at syncing up your accounts. There's only about a 1 to 2 second delay between the host and anyone watching the show. Furthermore, Netflix Party is free to install as an extension and piggybacks off your Netflix account. 2/7. 2/7, again, everyone needs their own copy. It gives you a text chat. It also gives you a video chat. It is fairly stable, only slightly worse than Netflix Party, but it does give you the increased variance of being usable across most video streaming platforms. The exception to that is that to access some of them, like Disney Plus, for a specific example, requires the paid subscription. The free subscription does not work. So depending what you want to watch where, 2/7 may work, it may not. It will require a little research on your part first. So those are our options, and this is hardly an extensive list. If you look up any of these, specifically Netflix Party or 2/7, you'll see a dozen more extensions that allow you to screen share or sync up. So these are recommendations, but these are hardly an extensive list. So look through and see what works best for you. The personal recommendation that I use is Cosme, mostly, or separate but together, specifically doing so for Amazon Prime. But each to their own, and if you have Netflix, Netflix Party is the best go-to. Lastly, that cinema feel. Now that you've gotten a decent thought of what you want to watch and how you want to watch it, you have to figure out where you're going to watch it. And as we're trying to do a sit-in theater, we need to be concerned a little bit about how to make this different from you're just sitting there binging your next favorite TV show. So, what makes the theater or cinema special? 1, the big screen. Okay. 2, the comfy chairs. 3, the fact that it's dark and quiet. And 4, the popcorn and snacks. So let's go through these and figure out how to replicate those in your daily life and house. So, the big screen. If you already have a TV that's bigger than 50 inches, you're probably set. If you don't, you either will have to make do, or if you really want to get invested and think this will be something you do routinely, you can buy fairly cheap projectors from Amazon, small pocket projectors that can be found for under $50. This is surprisingly useful, but is an investment that is not one recommended, but an option to be aware of. Otherwise, moving to the comfy chairs. Most armchairs will suffice on their own. If you're looking for a little extra plushness, you can stack pillows, or if you have old comforters stored in your basement or something like that, you can take those out and fold them over to fit in the seat of the chair, and that will give you that nice extra cushion that lets you sink in as you would in a theater. To improve the dark and quiet nature of your living room to match a theater, blackout curtains or heavy drapes help greatly. Also, running this event later in the evening will naturally make this easier. The pillows from before will also help to absorb sound, adding that stillness that you got in a theater. Lastly, and arguably most important, is the popcorn. Because if there's anything synonymous with movies, it's popcorn. Now, what makes theater popcorn so different? From the various sources and former theater workers posting on Reddit, they have all agreed that there's 3 elements that make movie popcorn, and that is the oil it's fried in, the butter, and the seasoning. 2 of the 3 are fairly easily replicated at home. The one that is not is the oil, as apparently most theaters use a colored coconut oil, so it's yellow or orange coconut oil. From most posts, it seems that if you use this at home, it's easy to mess up and end up with coconut flavored popcorn. Not ideal. So, skipping that, instead use regular corn oil or olive oil to pop your popcorn. Now, you may notice that some of you may be thinking, what about microwave popcorn? That's a whole lot easier. It is. It also doesn't taste nearly as good. Because one of the other secrets to the really good movie popcorn is the first batch is somewhat steamed, as the lid of the popcorn popper has not opened up yet. And you can replicate that at home easily enough with a small saucepan with a lid. Put your kernels down in a single layer with a little bit of oil, put on medium to high heat, and shake vigorously. As it's about halfway popped, you'll probably want to take it off the heat and continue shaking to let the residual heat pop the last of it. And you know you did this right if the pan ends up lightly greased instead of sticky. If it's sticky, you cooked it too high or too long. But once you have your popcorn popped, you can add your seasoning, which a seemingly almost universal to theaters is the use of flavacol seasoning, which you can acquire on Amazon. Now, if you're to do this, I hope you love popcorn dearly, because it comes in only bulk quantities. So, bear that in mind. Otherwise, you can get buttery seasonings from many local markets. Lastly is the butter. Popcorn at the theater has a distinct butter flavor because they use a browned, clarified butter. To do this, you simply have to get real butter, so stick butter, melt it down, and it will slightly bubble and foam. If you let it cool, that foam will settle on the top. Once you skim that foam off, you are left with what is essentially clarified butter. And you should have let it brown ever so slightly, taking it off the heat basically the moment it starts to change color at all. Once you have taken off that top layer, you can pour that on your popcorn, and you should have a relative facsimile to theater popcorn. So now we've got your movie shared with your friends, you've got your packed theater, you've got your comfy chairs in a dark room with popcorn. Sounds to me like you're pretty much set for a good time, yeah? Enjoy, have a good day.